Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the Aromamizer RDTA by Crave. I'm going to say that these are revolutionary rebuildable tanks. They are incredible, and I'll show you why here in a moment. And it really doesn't surprise me that they are so incredible because they're the same company, Crave, that brought you these RDAs. You know, these are the ones that do that whirling around inside to increase flavor. They're for flavor chasers, but you could also change them up so you can make them into cloud chasers, but very revolutionary RDAs. Well, they also have this incredible tank, and they have two. They have the 6 milliliter, which you just saw right here on top of my Camry, and they also have a 3 millimeter style. They run about $40. I'm going to go ahead and provide the link below if you're interested in them. I think they just got them back in stock, so timing is perfect. So let's go ahead and take a close look and see what makes these special. So if you do order these, this is the box that they'll come in. Nice little magnetic holder right there. You get the actual tank, the RT or the RDTA. I'll mess that up a million times, so excuse me. You get an extra glass tank right there, so if you break them, because they are glass, they give you an extra one already. You get a silicone airflow adjuster. You can see right here it has like a silicone ring with holes in it, and you can turn that to adjust airflow. So they give you a blue one, and you also get a package with extra screws, and then you also have those grub nut type of screws in there also if you want to use those instead of the Phillips screws inside, and you get a whole bunch of extra O-rings. Also underneath here you get the very special legendary blue Phillips screwdriver, and you get a manual. Now I'd like to go ahead and just sort of disassemble this so you can really see the difference between this and a normal tank. I'm going to go ahead and pull the drip tip off right there, silicone ring right there, and to access your building deck you just unscrew the bottom, there it is, and then you just fill up the tank here, and we'll go over that in a second. I'm going to show you the building deck first because this is pretty special. These Phillips screws right here, you could go ahead and change these out to grub nuts if you want, of course. And you can see the holes here for the post. You have the middle one, which is a little bit bigger than your side negative posts. Now, the juice, when the juice leaves the tank right here, it sort of falls down into this groove right around here and works its way into this area here. You can see those 2 holes here, 2 holes on the other side. That's where the juice sort of comes up. So you want your wick in these cavities right here, these wells, to go ahead and suck up the juice. So the juice comes down in here and works its way under these wells and come up through those holes. Pretty neat, huh? Now let's go ahead and look at the tank here. So you can see these holes right here. So when the juice empties out, it empties it through these holes. That's how it gets into the building deck. Pretty neat, huh? Now, I want you to go ahead and take a look down inside where your chamber is, and you can see there's a hole right there. There's also a hole on the other side here, and that's sort of, you have a total of 4 holes. I'm going to go ahead and open these up here on each side. So your airflow, let me see if you could actually see, you could see the tip of this wooden bamboo stick here coming through. So you have 4 holes coming into the chamber where your atomizer is at, and you can see it's big. So in 4 directions you have airflow coming in. A lot of tanks the airflow is coming up under the deck somehow and coming up from underneath, and it's very constrictive, and the airflow, because it's a little more constrictive, also gets a lot hotter. So this tank, you know, just separates the airflow that's coming in through the holes from your liquid flow that's coming in from the outside. It's 2 separate flows. It keeps things more balanced. You have a more balanced temperature. You have more balanced flavor because the juice and the air are coming in 2 different ways. So I went ahead and, you know, again, this is the 3 milliliter. I already, here's the box. I already built right here the 6 milliliter. What I did was I wired this up with a 26 gauge Kanthal and used some cotton wick. Let me see, how many coils did I use? It was 6 wraps of 26 gauge Kanthal around a 2.5 milliliter, a 2.5 milliliter coiling rod. Okay, 2.5, 6 wraps, 26 Kanthal. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, that's what we have in here. And I also filled this up with some juice. I'll talk about that juice in a minute. And again, you want to make sure that the wicking material is touching in the bottom of those wells so it could suck up the juice in there. So pretty simple. And to fill it up, you just sort of just dump the juice down into those holes right there. It's nice if you have one of the bottles with the real skinny ones. You can put it right down in the hole, but in my case I had a normal dripper and I was able to still get it down there. It'll all eventually go down. If it doesn't, you know, there's still some up there, it's fine. There's no problem. So we'll go ahead and just close this one up. So it's pretty easy. Now, this, by the way, this also comes apart further, of course. You know, I should demonstrate that. So I took the base off. You could go ahead and take the silicone ring off. By the way, good insulators down in there. You know, you don't have to worry about post spinning and everything. They took care of all that stuff. They built these things really good. You could unscrew this to gain access to the tank. Very simple. Just open that up. So if you want to clean it and everything, you go ahead and remove the glass right there. You just pull it. In this case, it's on there pretty good. The other one, it came off fine. There we go. Just pull that off. There goes the silicone ring. Let me jam that back in there. Again, to put it back together, you just do the opposite. Let me just work that way in. When you put this all back together, make sure you're putting the glass into the channels. If you don't, you're going to break it, but luckily they do give you an extra one. So you just go ahead and put that in there. You can see the threads right here. See the threads right there? That's where it's threading in. I should let it focus. There we go. So that just threads in there. And again, you have a channel up in here. You want to make sure on the top that it goes into that channel also. Because if you don't, you're going to break this glass. Trust me. So we'll go ahead and close that tank back up, just like that. Then we go ahead and get our silicone ring. Pop that on there. You can use that blue one that came with it if you want. In the case of the 3 millimeter guy. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and zoom this out a little bit because I'm having a hard time keeping this all in frame. Go ahead and put the building deck on there. Again, you have a silicone ring right around here. Now, I want to note something. They do recommend using 24 or 26 gauge wire, I believe. And I learned the hard way. Yeah. In the instructions, if you read the instructions, they do state in here to use 24 or 26 gauge Kanthal wire. Or they don't say Kanthal, they just say gauge wire. Trust me, you want to use 24, 26. I had tried 28, and it guillotined the wire in there if you tighten the screws, or you get a little aggressive and tighten them too much. So trust me, just go ahead and use 24 or 26. Now I just built the single coil because I don't have the patience to build the double coil when you have a single center post. You know, I'm sure they would have used 2 center posts, which I prefer because you don't have to, have the wire going in both ways and all that. But I always have trouble with a single center post with dual coil. I don't have the patience, and I'm too old to see that good and deal with all that. So I just use a single coil in my demonstration here, and that's the way I vape. I get pretty good vape with that single coil, so I'm happy with what I got there. Alright, so there it is all back together. So let's go ahead and try out The 6 milliliter version I have sitting here on top of my Camry 60, right there. You can see I'm going to use 25 watts. You can see it's at 7 ohms. That coil, that 6 wrap coil, a 26 gauge Canthal, and it's putting 4.18 volts through there. 25 watts. So this design lends itself to a lot of things that I've already mentioned, but also will prevent dripping. I haven't experienced any kind of dripping. You know, if you have your atomizer sort of sitting there on the side, they tend to sometimes leak tanks. This one has not leaked. It also prevents overheating. It's a pretty incredible and different design from everything else. That's what I like. I like to review things that are different. I hate reviewing things that are always the same from the next one to the next one just because there's a different label on it. I want something different, and that's what this is. It's $40, but it's different. And I'll tell you what, the build quality on this is pretty amazing. I mean, really, really nice. Just so you can see the difference between the 3 and the 6 right there. I want to make sure that I covered everything here before we go any further, and I think we have. Now I have the airflow wide open, all 4. Again, you could adjust it by turning the silicone ring. I'm going to leave it wide open. Let's try it out. That is very impressive for a rebuildable tank. And you saw the crappy coil that I built. It's nothing special. Any idiot could build what I built inside this tank. It is probably the most low-rate budget, half-fast coil that anybody could build. So you can definitely do better than what I got going on here. And you still get in a very impressive cloud. Wow. Okay, so what am I vaping today? I am vaping something from Fumi Vapor. This is brought to you by the same people who bring the Gang Mod, which is going to be a review that I have coming up really soon. And they also have their own line of juice. This is the DTLA. And I'm a big fan of this particular juice because it tastes like cola, and I love juices that taste like cola. This says, I am in love with the cola, the classic Coke on the rocks flavor, ignite your creative imagination. And I'm going to be doing a full review of the juices too from fumivapor.com. It's I love the whole black and white thing, and see that gangster mod? I got one. I'm testing it right now, so stay tuned for that. They did a very good job with the bottling, childproof cap. See, I can't even open it. And little dripper built into it, and they have born and raised in USA. They have expiration dates, and I think they even have a barcode, so you could go ahead and isolate things down to a lot number if there's any issues. And all the ingredients are clearly listed. I think this is something that's a little heavier on the VG than the PG. It is a VG-PG blend, and it tastes pretty good. I'm very impressed. So before we go, I want to take one more taste and one more toot of this awesome tank. It's amazing. You know what I want to do? I'm not talking right. I'm going to close these down to about all the holes are halfway. Actually, almost 2/3. I want to see what a tighter, more constricted draw tastes like. Okay, it does sort of increase the flavor. Now, one thing I notice. Okay, I got this where it's pumping 4.2 volts, 25 watts. Doesn't feel very hot. It's, you know, that airflow is keeping that chamber and the way that airflow is designed nice and cool. And I mean, it's a nice, warm, but nowhere near hot kind of vape. It's pretty amazing because usually other tanks that I have hot. It gets really hot if I start cranking it up, and I get spitting. Which, by the way, this thing has a spit guard. Let me pull off the tip there. Look at the tip. You can see how it's closed off. You can't see through it. There's holes on the sides. I don't know if you can see that. There's holes on the sides, so the air comes in here. So things out of, things can't spit up into your mouth. It basically hits that. Air comes around the sides, but things can spit. I'm also always at a lack of words, especially when I get on camera. Alright, so again, another innovative, very impressive product from Steam Crave. I'm putting the link below to the RTDA. I know I was going to mess it up. The RDTA, their tanks. And they have a variety of different versions with different colors. So you could go ahead and change out the silicone airflow adjusting ring to different colors depending on your likes and desires. And I highly recommend this. This would be the best $40 you could spend on a tank, in my opinion. Alright, well, thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really do appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and especially you. And I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.